right, Chapter 7 review packet. Here we go. I'm just going to get started. Negative square root of 41. I don't know what the square root of 41 is, but you know what I do know? I know the square root of 36. It's 6. And I know what the square root of 49 is. It's 7. So the square root of 41 lives in between 6 and 7. Throw a few negatives in front of it, and you get in between negative 6 and negative 7, which is B. Of course, you can throw that in your calculator, but, you know, what fun is that? Find the missing length of the triangle. That would be A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 91 is going to be our C because it's the longest side. A is already A, so I'll call you B. So I'm going to set up A squared plus 84 squared equals 91 squared. Oh, hello there, Mr. Calculator, because I don't know what 84 squared is. 84 squared. Wow. That's about how much money I make in a day. Give or take a few dollars. All right, 91 squared. 8281. I have to get A all by itself, so let's subtract 7,056. Subtract 7,056. So 8281 minus 7056. Enter. A squared equals 1225. A is still not all by itself, so the next thing to do is square root it. Square root of 1225. I have a feeling that's going to be a lovely number. Look at that. A equals 35. So 35 feet. All right, that does it for the multiple choice. All right, now I have to find the regular square root, so this should be pretty quick, it looks like. Regular square root of 169 is 13, so throw a negative in front of it. Simple. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 81 is 9, so that happens. And then you have the cube root. For those of you who are not confident about cube roots, the button would be Math 4. And that brings up the cube root in the calculator. Either calculator, doesn't really matter. I'm not going to use a calculator, though. Cube root means what times itself a third time gives you that number. So I happen to know that 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. And 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So 4 over 3. All right, problem 4. I've rewrote the problem over here so that it's easier. These numbers look very friendly, so, you know, I'm not even going to bother throwing them in my calculator. I'm just going to do them. Square root of 100 is 10 plus 10. Square root of 16 is 4. So I have negative 4 times 10, which is negative 40. And I have 10 times 4, which is, I don't know why I did that. Well, look at that, 40. Oh, wait a minute. Negative 40 plus regular 40, 0, 0. All right. Pythagorean Theorem a bunch of times. So let's do this one right here. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. C is already C. I'll call you A. I'll call you B. I have 39 squared plus 80 squared equals C squared. 39 squared. 39. Oh my goodness. 39 squared, 1521. I already know what 80 squared is. If 8 squared is 64, then 80 squared is 64 with 2 zeros. Learned that back in college. Add those two up. It looks like 7921 equals C squared. Square root both sides. Square root of 7921. 89, baby. There you are. 89. 89 what? 89 feet. Speaking of feet, that was a tremendous feat. all on its own. Look, another one. I have to call you C because it's the longest side. I'll call you A, and B will be D because D is B backwards. So I will do A squared plus B squared equals C squared. What did I do? 2.5 squared plus D squared equals 6.5 squared. I have a feeling that this is 6.25, but I'm a little insecure. 2.5 squared. Ugh. Easy. 6.5 squared is 42.25. To get D all by itself, I have to subtract this number before I square root, so minus 6.25. Minus 6.25. Cross that out. D squared will equal, that looks like it's going to be 36. To get D all by itself, you square root. You square root. And last time I checked, square root of 36 is not 3, but 6. Here, this whole time I thought I wouldn't need an eraser. Turns out I was wrong. Feet again. I have to do this problem by turning it into a fraction or a mixed number. The old-fashioned way of doing this is whenever you have a repeating decimal, you take that number and you put it over 99, or as many nines as there are numbers repeating. Since 1-4 is 2 digits repeating, I put it over 1, 2 nines. That's it, I'm done. If you need to see it done on a calculator, you type out 0.1414 and you keep hitting 14, no mistakes, no typos, until you get to the second line. Hit math, frac. I think I hit the wrong thing. I did. Math, frac, and there it is, 14 over 99. If you're using the blue calculator, you're going to do math F to D, or regular F to D. All right, we have a slide is 21 feet high. There it is, as shown. The bottom of the slide is 28 feet away from the bottom of the ladder-looking thing, and we have the slide right there. We need to find out how long the slide is, the hypotenuse. So again, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The slide has to be C because it's the longest slide. I mean side. Oh, I'll call you A, I'll call you B. Doesn't really matter as long as the longest side is C. 28 squared, 21 squared, C squared. 28 squared is 784. 21 squared, I want to think it's 441. 441. And that's going to equal C squared. Okay, they're right next to each other. Add these numbers up. 784. 784 plus 441, 1225, and I believe we just had a 1225 laying around here somewhere. That ended up being 35, didn't it? Square root of 1225. Yep. C equals 35 feet. Wow. It's like these types of problems keep just happening over and over and over again. So let's see what happens here. Oh, this has to be different. I have to find the distance of D. Well, I can't really measure out how long D is because, there's nothing that I could use to measure it out. But what I can do is I can turn that right there into a triangle. A triangle that's 3 units sideways, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units tall. And I'll call DC because, the president. But not because of the president, because it's the longest side. This is a bipartisan math problem. It doesn't matter who the president is. So you have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'll call 3A. I'll call 5B. 3 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. Square 'em. 9 plus 25 equals C squared. Add 'em. 34 equals C squared. Round this to the nearest tenth because this is not going to be pleasant. Square root of 34. 5.83, so C, or rather D, equals 5.8. There you have it. Done. All right, so now I'm asked to find the square root. The square root, that number keeps appearing. Up here we found out that the square root of 1,225 is 35. So the square root of 12.25 is going to be 3.5. Just throw that decimal there. And since there's a positive or negative symbol in front of it, you have to keep that positive or negative symbol there. Now that's not bad. You can use your calculator. In this case, we're going to have to. So square root of 17 I know is a little bit bigger than 4. I just don't know how much bigger than 4. 4.123. So this becomes 4.123 yada yada yada. Which number is greater? The square root of 17 is greater because 4.123 is bigger than 4.5. Yes. Yes. All right, tell whether the triangle with the given side lengths is a right triangle. Given this picture, I have to assume that that would be my hypotenuse because it's the longest side. The other two, it doesn't matter which one's which. So I have a squared plus b squared if it's c squared equals c squared. What I'm looking for to see is if I throw everything in the formula, will the left side match up with the right side? If it does, I have a right triangle. If it doesn't, I don't. So I have 10.5 squared plus 10 squared equals 14.5 squared. I know 10 squared is 100. I don't know what 10.5 squared is. 110.25. 14.5 squared. 210.25. So let me see if I add these up. 100 plus 110.25 is 210.25. That equals out to 210.25. This is a right triangle. Everything matches out. Now we have a case of a car leaving a parking ramp and traveling 5 miles due east. This came accompanied with a lovely little picture. Isn't that nice? Makes a 90-degree turn, travels 12 miles north. Car has enough gas in the tank to travel 12.7 miles. Can the car make it back to the parking ramp using a direct route? All right, so drives 5 miles, drives 12 miles. At this point, he has 12.7 miles left in the tank. That's going to be my C, that's my A, that's my B. I have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So 5 is my A, B is my 12, and C is my I don't know yet. 25 plus 144 equals C squared. 25 plus 144 is 169 equals C squared. I know that the square root of 169 is 13. So this guy right here is 13. The point that I have to make is he has 12.7 miles of gas left. Can he make it? No. He will come up just short. So we're going to say no. And the reason why is the drive home is 13 miles and he only has enough to make it 12.7 miles. Oh, shame, shame, shame. Shame. All right, this next problem, I think I put it in here by accident, but it's not the end of the world. Let's figure it out. The area of a sail is 162 square feet. So we know that area of a triangle is half of base times height. In this case, the base and the height are the same. So if they're the same, then I could just, instead of calling base height, I could just say base times base or base squared. The area is 162. I'm going to replace 162 with 1/2 b squared. I have to multiply both sides by 2. That's how I get rid of the half. That ends up being 324 equals b squared. Take the square root, because I have to get b all by itself. Take the square root. The square root of 324 is a perfect 18. B equals 18. which is the same as the height, so 18 feet. Again, that one was a typo, or I didn't mean to add it, but you know, it's just fun for me. All right, what kind of shape is that? Oh, it appears to be a right triangle. And it appears that I have to find this missing side. I know the string length is 145. I'll call that C because it's the longest. I'll call you B. I'll call you A. So we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared plus 105 squared equals 145 squared. 105 squared is that big number. 145 squared is that big number, but look at it. Look at how nice it is. In order to get A all by itself, you have to subtract both sides by 11,025. And just so happens when I do that, I get 10,000. Square root it, square root it. Square root of 10,000 is 100. How high is that kite? 100 feet. Fun. Find the cube root of the number. Well, remember, cube root, math 4 of 512, 8. What that means is 8 times 8 times 8 is 512, just in case you never knew that. All right, tell whether the number is rational or irrational. Remember, rational is a number that can be written as a fraction. Irrational is an ugly, terrible number that goes on forever and has no pattern and can't be written as a fraction. I'm not going to explain because I don't have to. See how that number right there has a repeating decimal? That means it becomes a pattern, which means it can be written as a fraction, which means this guy is rational. Now, pi itself is not rational, it's irrational. Divide pi by 8 and it just becomes worse, so that's irrational. Square root of 4 is 2. Which is rational. Easy. Speaking of easy, let's get this one out of the way. Which number is greater? I know the square root of 64 is 8, which means that's going to be like less than 8, so we'll call it 7.9. So 9 is greater, and it's because 9 is bigger than 7.9. Dunzo. All right, problem 12 follows the same rules as problem 11. Square root of 190. Let's find out. Let's just use our calculators to guide this one. Square root of 190. Oh, I guess I should turn it on, huh? Square root of 190 is 13.78. So we'll write that out, 13.78. Automatically, I already know that that's going to be bigger. So that's an easy problem. If you needed to do that in your calculator just to make sure you can, but why would we? I already know which one's bigger. All right. Two of the same type of problem. Tell whether it's a right triangle or not. In each case, that's my C. So you could be my A, and you can be my B. So doing 13. Okay, let's see how quick we can do it. I have 16 squared plus 30 squared equals 34 squared. I don't know what 16 squared is. I'm just going to type it out. And it's 256. 30 squared is 900. 34 squared is 1156. 900 plus 256 is 1156. 1100 equals, or 1156 does equal 1156. That is right. Sorry about the terrible camera angle. I was just so focused on doing math that I didn't pay attention to my camera here. My phone. Let's do it again. Ugh. Fractions. All right, no big deal. We have calculators to lead the way. 5, and I'm putting it in parentheses on purpose. 5 over 13 squared plus 12 over 13 squared equals... I have a feeling this will work. I really do. But I guess there's only one way to find out. 5 divided by 13 squared. I have a feeling it's going to be a ugly decimal. I mean, let's see if I can make that a fraction. Oh, look at that. 25 over 169. So let's do 12 over 13 squared. My guess is 144 over 169 if I hit math frac. Wow, I'm a sorcerer. 144 over 169 equals 1. 25 169ths plus 144 169ths is 169 169ths. 1 equals 1. Look at that. It's right again. Right again. Okay. Let's just keep going. Let's see if we can do this without writing anything down. I mean, I think you get the idea. But this is going to be my C. That's going to be my C. That's going to be my C. So let's do this. 14 squared plus 18 squared. That has to equal 21 squared. It doesn't, so no. Not right. 24. Let's do that. 24 squared plus 45 squared. Hit enter. That has to equal 51 squared. It does, so it's right. And then 4/5 squared plus, I already know what 3/5 is, so I'll do 1.6. 1.6 squared. That has to equal 2.2 squared. It doesn't, so no. No zers. Ooh, what a page, what a page, what a page. Is that it? Yeah, man, that's it. All right, do that. You'll get 100. Dunzo. Bye.